For every classic horror movie that pushes boundaries, tackles difficult social commentary, or simply is a masterclass in atmosphere and fear, there are heaps of cheap trash. This is not an inherently bad thing, however. Everybody has their own guilty pleasures, their so bad it's good memories. Campy horror from a bygone age, such as Maniac from 1934, can be a treasure trove for such ridiculous yet entertaining content. In the long history of critics citing certain films as the worst film ever made, this is the very first to hold that honour. The plot is a loose, very loose adaptation of The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe, featuring some elements such as the famous ending with the corpse in the wall. Another version of that story was of course put to film in that same year, starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, but that is also a loose retelling. A mad scientist is performing illegal experiments, attempting to reanimate the dead whilst playing around with science classroom toys. His assistant is a failed actor and vaudeville impersonator, played by Bill Woods in what is coincidentally, or not so coincidentally, his only acting role.
It's not natural. You with your weird idea.
The assistant fails to produce a fresh corpse for the doctor, which he blames on what is admittedly a pretty mental catfight. Like any good pub brawl, the feline fighters somehow even bring their battle outside onto the street, despite being down in the basement just moments prior. An argument ensues between the two men, and the assistant fatally shoots the mad scientist. To cover his crimes, he impersonates his dead employer. Things quickly get out of hand as he treats the doctor's patients without any medical knowledge, turning them into rampant, raging, zombie-like monsters.
Stealing through my body. Creeping through my veins.
And then, for little reason, his beef with the Black Cat reaches climactic heights when he pins it down, squeezes out its eyeball, and then slurps it down as a quick snack. The film was made for the very low budget of $7,500, and it shows in every frame. Produced and directed by exploitation fiend Dwayne Esper, he also self-distributed the movie, roadshow style. It initially flopped, unsurprisingly, until he renamed the title from Maniac to Sex Maniac, which proved once again that sex sells. Such a winning formula it was. Esper then directed a film called Sex Madness. It's a shame that other horror film flops did not learn from this and spruce up their own titles. Village of the Sexy Damned, Sex Jaws 4, The Revenge, and Sexy Friday, The Sex Team 5, A Nude Beginning. Indeed, the film was heavily criticized for its tasteless perversions. A pointless scene of shrill-voiced women prancing about in bathtubs and their lingerie was much derided. There are moments of topless nudity, including during the film's most shameful scene, where the inexplicably raging zombie man kidnaps a woman, takes her out to the woods, and rapes her. It is the film's less problematic tackiness that makes Maniac a fun watch today. One must presume the notorious schlock director of the 1950s, Ed Wood, was a huge fan of this movie. It shares many similarities with his infamous works. The failed attempts at serious movie-making, exemplified here in the reoccurring on-screen text detailing research on various mental illnesses. The awkward and abrupt editing, the overall cheapness and minimal bland locations, the use of stock footage superimposed over comically dramatic monologues, in this case stolen from a 1922 Danish film, the lumbering zombies and familiar sci-fi horror subject matter. But, most of all, the acting. I should just let the content speak for itself.
I have it. You know my powers. You have worked with me. You have faith in me. Here, take this. Take it and take your life, and I will give it back to you.
Cats eat rats, and rats eat raw meat. That is, they eat the carcasses of the cat. So, the rats eat the cat, the cats eat the rats, and I get the skins.
Oh, there's the fire in my brain!
Between the gangsters and the auto drivers, we don't need another war to carry off the population.
You didn't even mention suicides.
I can only imagine the Onstead catering servers had no access to water or any other drinks, other than straight vodka. A lot of takes feel like outtakes that were left in, or the director simply could not be bothered to try again. Film isn't cheap, you know.
I wonder who that old Santa Claus is.
So yes, Maniac is cheap trash, but it's entertaining cheap trash. It was these sort of low-budget exploitation affairs that dragged the horror name down into the dirt, a reflection of the genre that still somewhat exists today. The existing cut of the film is under an hour long, so there are worse ways to spend your time. Gather some friends, some beers, and a bowl of cat's eyeballs, and enjoy.